I like that no one at home knows that this is like the third real run of the start of this. So that's why it seems very natural.
Goes back to the origin story of TreeCoin.
Yeah.
We've known each other for 20 years as friends.
20 years.
And we were chatting away over those years about life and the universe and wealth and financial management. And yeah, I remember...
World, trees.
Exactly.
The world.
Yeah, our career plans, our life plans. And I remember the day that we were chatting about currency and Sylph talked about, well, what about a carbon-backed currency that would be a way forward for a cool aspect of our economy? And I just like light bulb, man. Yeah, that's right. I was just really blown away by the impact of that idea.
No, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Demian. So, I remember it. I remember because not naming names. I remember that there were a few other people that I reached out to with the original idea, and we'd all jumped in Zoom chats and conversations, and for whatever reason, timing wasn't right, for them, but you just lit up, and then we continued conversations, which I think led to, you drafted the case for TreeCoin as the sort of initial document.
Yeah.
Together. And it wasn't called TreeCoin at the beginning. I think I drafted it something like carbon coin.
Yeah.
Which is probably taken. And if not, we should trademark that immediately. By the domain. So yeah, this idea that started from my other company where I work in IT asset management and had done a lot of work with environmental land care clients and groups, and kept seeing that they were planting millions of trees, but none of the work they were doing was being counted for any kind of extra monetization or carbon rights or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so it started this idea, especially with blockchain background, how could we marry these things together? And I loved that I came to you and pitched this idea, and you basically said, "Oh my God, that's the best thing since sliced bread. I think we need to do that." And then 7 or 8 months later, we incorporate the company.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for my whole career through climate impact and technology, empowering climate solutions through technology is really what I'm all about. So knowing that incentivizing the masses to shift their behavior, both economically, environmentally, and financially, is like the big ticket way to a much stronger climate future. And so I absolutely want to be part of that side of history. And I think what we're doing can be part of making history, because with the biggest driver of all being personal wealth, personal security, when you scale it up across the billions of people that are doing what we're doing currently to the planet and the economy, it's like what's going to really make a change at that mass scale. So I think this idea where people who've talked about it, so like people who are currently involved will be rewarded, like the land care community that you've been servicing through IT for years, but also just the wider community of entrepreneurs and people with initiative to boost their own livelihoods, revenues, and their businesses through seeing unforested lands or semi-forested viable areas as revenue opportunities. And that's the long-term plan. And we're on like phase 1 of that, with the apps up and working. With onboarding popping up around the world.
Worldwide, metrics page. It's nice every now and then we see new forests pop up all over the world. We've got like US, as of today, there's USA, there's Australia, there's Zambia, there's Kenya, there's Italy, there's France, Indonesia. That's really exciting to see.
Yeah, it's awesome that people are looking for this and finding it through our platform. And the blockchain side is really exciting, as it kind of brings carbon token and currency potential all into one place. Like the simplification of it for the user, for everyone at the grower and buyer end, and hopefully the merchants in future. Like it's just got this almost like unlimited potential. So yeah, it's been a cool journey. It's been a few years since we've been like brainstorming in our homes, and then getting our team expanded. Thanks to angel investors that have helped to get this far, and to the upcoming investors that will be part of our scale up, and the team that we're building to get that scale up going. Yeah. But I really light up when I see things like the project in Kenya that came through, this regreening an island.
The Badawisha project.
Episode 2 will be an interview on that.
Awesome.
So just people already taking initiative, like you're saying with the land care groups, but teams that are reforesting their local environment off a kind of volunteer base are also like ripe opportunities for revenue to come in through an easy to use tokenization system that doesn't need a load of third-party external auditors at a great cost and time expense, but has like automated the trustability of the carbon value of a forest, which we're doing through people can use their phone and map out their sites, do their declarations, and the satellite
all in it.
Record tech that we've got that evaluates the forest growth and the carbon quantity is largely automated. So it's really taking, I think, carbon valuation into the future, and that's part of the whole nature-based solution. But it's not just a nature-based solution; it's a nature-based revenue opportunity that's like ubiquitous, decentralized, democratized.
It's something that was really key for us right at the early days, and it stayed really core throughout the whole project, is that we wanted to make sure that we were democratizing access to second and third world growers. And it was, TreeCoin's, it's about also in engaging the people who might be otherwise financially incentivized to cut down trees just because they need to live or fund things for family projects. If they've inherited large family farms, but they don't have the disposable capital to send their kids to school. And so rather than cutting the trees down for timber, and then we lead into erosion and then land care problems and, weather system changes for that, well, there's an alternative. TreeCoin comes along and says, what if we help to reduce deforestation and we keep trees in the ground, because there are companies and there are corporations that want to do good and they want to purchase and they want to show that they're funneling dollars towards revegetation and deforestation reduction projects. And rather than them all just being B2B and large corporates speaking to large corporates, core to the mission for TreeCoin has always been, how do we get the like you said before, the grassroots guys, the on the ground Kenyan farmers who have islands, they have properties to re-veg, or they have trees to save, and they also need dollars for day-to-day life things. It's almost like saying, how could trees pay a dividend, an annual dividend, rather than just a one-off speculation in their timber value, and add an extra bit of valuation to them, which is exciting. Because I love trees. I grew up on the edges of National Park and love it. I've always loved trees. I'm looking out, it's just beautiful forests. And for me, I want people to value trees financially for more than just timber. And because TreeCoin's not a charity, it's never been built off the idea of just altruism. It has to be commercially viable. Then the whole TreeCoin platform is designed that second, third world growers could come on board at no cost, which is pretty cool. Like, to them, there's zero cost. They can just create accounts, they can bring their projects online, they can produce tokens that can be sold to first world growers, buyers, first world purchasers, and hopefully, in the case of the Badawisha project, like a proper re-veg volunteer team, they've got costs of seed and rootstock and managing the nurseries for all their tree growth. There's dollars that can go into that. I wonder how much more of the island they can reforest. If there's dollars flowing in, they're not just relying on handing around buckets to get coins. There's additional revenue in USD.
And so people listening and watching can go on our website and look on our socials and find links to these projects and start buying TreeCoin from the people producing it.
You can buy right now.
Cool. So that's really exciting. And also, like, it's cool how what we're doing is making like a user experience that's smooth but kind of elegant as well. I think your background in like Apple IT tech is that kind of beautiful experience with a tech engine that's like elegant underneath, and I think that's already reflected in the TreeCoin website and the TreeCoin app. And like what would you say about your like design philosophy?
Oh, I mean, it needs to be beautiful and sexy. I mean, I personally don't want to use something that looks like it was built in 1994. You know, I can think of some websites, I won't mention names. And there's a lot of projects we still see out there, right? Like, I think part of the barrier, especially because we've got to remember that these aren't necessarily people who have tech skills. These aren't, you know, some of the growers, they might have a mobile phone. They certainly don't have laptops. The internet to them might just be Facebook on a mobile phone, right? So if it's not really clear and obvious and natural, if it doesn't feel like the app just should work in the palm of your hand, then they're not necessarily going to even be able to navigate that.
Yeah.
So it was really high on the list of making sure that it felt easy. And when you load the TreeCoin portal, it should, hopefully you take a breath out and there's a bit of relief. And it's something that you want to go in and check on your trees, and you want to go in and check on your crypto wallet because it's so nice.
Yeah.
Compliance.
Well, and I think, with the tech dev team that we've had, like, supporting that,
big shout out,
implementing that vision.
Thanks to you guys too.
Yeah. Looking forward to that continuing to evolve. It's been exciting to notice as the user friendliness sort of has cranked up, the user self-onboarding around the world has just like leapt up.
Yeah. Which is a really good feedback, right? Like, that's something that I think you're only getting a tech company at such speed, where you can make a few little changes and you can like an hour later, you can see whether the users are responding to that. And if you make it really complicated and you start to reduce your onboarding rate, or you get people who get stuck along the way, obviously you've got a problem, you fix it up. Suddenly, if 10 times that number of people make it all the way through to account creation, you're doing something right.
Yeah. So, I mean, origin story, it's like, how do people do well for themselves by doing something good for the planet and making those two work hand in hand. And I think that's still what it like drives the inspiration. The team are really committed to the vision, and they're doing well for yourself as well as doing good for the planet is the, like I said earlier, it's like the key to sustainable motivation in individuals, groups, and even at national and global level. So I can see a future where forest carbon-backed currency is like an increasing pillar of a global economy, and I think that's the future that has the kind of stable climate temperatures sort of future that we want to leave as a legacy. A carbon forest drawdown is one of the lowest cost large scale climate mitigation options available. So from a climate and carbon perspective, it's like absolutely essential. But it's like this gap in the market where complex carbon credit schemes are available for large scale forests, but for those small, medium growers in first world countries as well as third world. You've got this, and also like regulated out. It's this kind of paradox of this kind of anti-greenwash movement, that you've got this sort of clamping down on ever more rigid structures that just make it harder or impossible for a huge amount of genuine growers to be participating in carbon revenue. But that's what we're disrupting. So viva la revolution.
Resistance. It's nice. It's fun to be right out in the front of that too. Like on not just say carbon tokens and that, but also blockchain and riding this awesome wave of tech, because Web3, for anyone who's watching, who's got a tech kind of background, the future of the internet is Web3, totally. And rather than going into that right now, we're just pitching ourselves to be right there, so that when people ideally are making, imagine if you go down to the shops and you could buy your coffee in TreeCoin, and what that would do economically if you put a living asset to back a transactable currency, so that you and me, we demand dollars, we're getting paid, we have families and think about the future. What happens if the thing we're accruing just accidentally keeps demanding more and more trees, so that my personal needs here in my country where I live increase stable temperatures, reduce erosion worldwide, manage oxygen levels and suck carbon down in country 12,000 kilometers away? I'm really excited by that. I think that's really cool. That's something that, and you know, that's a big passion of mine, that economic philosophy background and how that underpins into what we've designed. And I'm really excited to see, now that the whole project's up and running, I'm excited to see the real world use cases for that. You know, who's going to be the first corporation who comes in and works with us that says, hey, we'll actually accept TreeCoin for goods and services for this product or this service, telco company or something. And we'll accept them from our customers because we want to accrue them anyway for our own carbon offsetting needs and purposes. So imagine if you could pay for 20% of your phone bill in TreeCoin. I'm excited to see who that first chunk of businesses is going to be.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be world leaders in that.
Yeah. So watch this space. Like we're building our compliance licensing kind of pathway. So
to be able to do that.
Yeah. So as of today, it's a mintable, purchasable, and retirable as a carbon offset token.
It's a utility token.
Yeah. And that's like watch this space for the next stage.
Yeah.
Of a transactable medium. Yeah.
Well, I think the only other sort of wrap up that from the origin story is just what an awesome 20 years it's been. And I'm looking forward to the next 20.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Sylph.
Yeah, thanks very much, Stephen.
Yeah, we'll be live on the next episode.
Episode 2, which is Evans and the Badalisa project.
Yeah, in Kenya. Yeah. See you later, guys.